Well guys, there's not much that I hate more than sharpening chisels and plane irons, but I got a new tool that I am actually really excited about. It is a diamond whetstone by Trend. I just tried it out for the first time, did my first chisel. I've got it splitting hairs sharp, and I'm really excited about it. So just a real brief history. I'm not a sharpening guru. I don't care to be. I like having sharp tools, but I do not enjoy sharpening them. And in the past, I've used a few different things. I've got this Grizzly wet grinder here that I bought. Don't like using it, hardly ever touch it. And then what I had been using was these whetstones, which are fine, pretty decent kit, you know, but you got to get water out and do all that jazz. And it just made sharpening stuff such a pain and long process. So I've had my eyes on these diamond whetstones for a while now, and I finally pulled the trigger because I actually wanted something that I could keep in my work van to touch up an edge on a dull chisel or plane if I needed to, but just using it here in the shop, and I want to show you how this works. Before we get into this, I am not a skilled sharpener by any means. I mean, I know the basics, but I do not nerd out on this stuff. This was my first chisel. I did it freehand with this diamond stone. Let me try not to cut myself, but yet show you how sharp I got it. So I wanted a sharpening solution that I could keep on my van that would be fairly compact, but that I could sharpen on the job site. So I started looking at these diamond stones, got on Stumpy Nub's YouTube channel, and he's obviously extremely knowledgeable about this stuff, knows way more than I care to know about it, and he highly recommended this Trend stone. The Trend stone has 300 grit on one side and 1,000 grit diamonds on the other, which seemed like a pretty ideal solution for all-around sharpening purposes. I believe you can purchase just the diamond stone itself, or you can buy a kit. I went ahead and bought the kit. It comes with a case, comes in this little box, and it also comes with a leather strop, which will also fit in this case, which I liked, along with some polishing compound. And then I believe separately, I bought this Trend lapping fluid because that's what you want to use with this. Now, something really important that I learned on Stumpy Nub's channel is that the way this is manufactured, these are not obviously naturally made diamonds. They're man-made diamonds, and through some crazy process, they get these things on this piece of super flat steel. Anywho, these diamonds are impregnated into this surface, but some of them are not in deep enough and they're gonna dislodge on your first use. So it's important that you break in the stone, which will dislodge some of those diamonds that are sitting higher up on the surface. If you use your best irons right away, it'll be like sand on the surface with those things rolling around, and it could do quite a bit of damage to your plane iron or whatever it is you're trying to sharpen. So he recommended using a junk chisel or something dull. So that's what I did. I broke in the stone first, just with a chisel that I didn't care about, and then I washed it off, blew it off, got all of that grit off of there, and then sharpened this first chisel, which I showed before, and it went perfectly. So I'll show you what I'm doing here and how this thing works. So if you want a really basic explanation of sharpening, it's essentially bringing two perfectly flat surfaces to a point. That's all we're doing, two perfectly flat surfaces to a point. So we need to flatten, for a chisel, we need to flatten the back of it, and then obviously then we'll do the front as well. So I just started off, I washed this stone off and then blew it off with air. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of this lapping fluid on the stone. So to start with, I wanna start with my back of the chisel and get that nice and flat. And the way that I have seen to do this, and again, I'm not a sharpening expert, but I look at the back of the chisel, and you can see my wear marks where I'm flattening this down. And my goal is for this whole area to be the same shiny color and consistency, and that's going to mean that this whole area is perfectly flat. The other thing you don't want to do is push really hard. From what I understand, you just want to use light pressure and let the stone do the work. If you push too hard, you're probably going to put deeper scratches in, and then it's going to actually be a lot harder with your 1000 grit to get that nice polished edge that's going to be super sharp. So as you can see here, I'm starting to wear down, and as I keep lapping this, the color here is going to keep coming into the center. So I just want to keep doing this until that's all the same color and I get that nice polished look on the back side, and then I'll flip it over and start on the front. So again, we just hit this all with 300, and you can see this color difference here. This is not flat, but this up here, the whole cutting area up here is flat. You can see how we worked that nice shiny color in all the way across this surface here. So now, to me, that's good enough. Now I'll flip it over and move to the top edge. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little more honing compound on this. Now, essentially what you wanna do is match the bevel on your chisel. So start it out here and then rock it up into place, and you'll feel whenever you have that exact angle engaged. So for me, I'm just going to start at the top of the stone. I'm going to feel that angle, and you want to put pressure on that front tip of your chisel with your 2 fingers, lock your body in position, and then just draw it back. Now, some people are skilled enough that they can do a figure 8. I would royally jack up this chisel if I tried to do a figure 8 right now on 300 grit, especially. So I'm just going to lap it back. Again, each time, rock it up until you feel that nice match of angle, and try and keep that exact same position as you pull it back. Now, if you've ever studied up on sharpening very much, you know that as you sharpen one side, it creates a burr on the opposing side. So it's good to go back and forth from one side to the other a little bit to keep that burr off. But it doesn't take much with this 300, and I feel like it's ready to move to the 1000. One thing I do want to mention that might not go without saying, some of your chisels that might not be very beat up, you don't need to go straight to the 300 grit with those and get them scratched up a whole bunch. You can probably just start with the 1000 grit side and be just fine if your edges are not very beat up, especially on your narrower chisels. Then I found, obviously on the wider ones, you've got a wider surface here that you're trying to flatten, and going a little bit more aggressive will help you get that flatter quicker probably. But again, you can just look at the coloring as you work the chisel, and if it's going too slow on flattening it, then bump up to the 300 grit. But you may find, actually you probably will find, if your chisels are pretty good, that starting with the 1000 is just fine. What we just did was 300, so now I'll flip it over to the 1000 side. Again, add some honing fluid, I guess you call it there, and start on the back here. Again, letting the diamonds do the work, not pushing down extremely hard. To finish it off, they do provide you with a strop in this kit. So put a little compound on the strop and just lapping As far as strops go, I like that they give you this strop in the kit that matches the same size as your diamond stone here. I have a different strop in my shop, but I don't really want to carry this thing around in my van. So I like that the one they give you can just go in the kit. They also give you two different types of strop compound. One's a little bit coarser and one's for polishing more. So if you're on the job site and you want to just give a blade a quick sharpening with just the strop, you've got a little bit more of an aggressive compound, and then the green compound here is a little bit more for polishing. But I did go ahead and I just hit the blade with both compounds, the white compound, and then polished it up with the green a little bit, and I'll show you what we've got here. In terms of the look on the chisel, this is what we've got. Again, it's not perfect. I'm not trying to be a world-class sharpener here, but as you can see, it polished up really nice, very nice and sharp. We'll give her the old hair test here without me trying to cut myself. Oop, there it went. Better shave it some more. You can see there, takes some hair off. So the purpose of this video was not to be a world-class sharpening video or for me to teach you a world-class lesson on sharpening. It's more of a sharpening for dummies video. I consider myself a sharpening dummy. I don't want to know everything there is about sharpening. I just want to be able to get a sharp edge quickly and do what I need to do on the job site. And that's why I went ahead and bought this diamond stone, and I'm super happy with it. I don't think there's anything better that I could probably come up with for an on-site solution to sharpening something quickly. And honestly, I'll probably end up using this for all my sharpening in the shop too, because I hate getting out these water stones. So mission accomplished, I would say. I think this is a great product. I'm really gonna like. All the reviews on this Trend Diamond Stone have been good that I've seen, and for me, it's plenty good enough. So very pleased. I like the fact that you don't have to have water to do it. You're on the job site, you want to do something, or in the shop, just put a little bit of the lapping fluid on it, go to town, flatten the back, hit the front edge, hit your strop, and you're good to go. Doesn't get any better than that.